that our thoughts are powerful because they can influence how we feel. And once we feel differently, we also act differently. And by acting differently, we either help certain situations or attract better situation to us, or we can also do the opposite. Welcome everyone to LifewithLiza podcast. Our mission at LifewithLiza is to share people's stories and the challenges that they have overcome so that those who are listening in can get the strength, the courage, and the hope to be their better selves. And I wanted to welcome you to this special edition episode with me being your guest, with me sharing my stories. And I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining in, for trusting me with your time, with your energy, and actively investing time and energy in getting better. Today I wanted to talk about something so interesting, so fascinating, and it almost feels like it's not tangible, but it's so true. Have you ever had this moment in your life that through thinking you transform the outcome of the situation? Sometimes, have you ever had it that you were just so in the negative mood or so fearful, so anxious that actually that ruined the outcome of a certain situation that could have gone so differently? Or have you ever were just like so confident and so ready for it that you went into a situation that had low chances of it actually working out, and it worked out perfectly and you were shocked? And I think there's just something so interesting in this point of view, because that has happened to me many times. And now I started reading this book of Joe Dispenza, and which is called You're the Placebo. And it is very fascinating because it refers to the power of the thoughts and how actually this power of the thought is so connected to the matter and what is going on, and we can influence not only our health but so much more. And I don't want it to sound a bit like wishy-washy and what's going on, or like law of attraction, that we just can think our way into success and do nothing. I'm not trying to make that point. The point that I'm trying to make is that our thoughts are powerful because they can influence how we feel. And once we feel differently, we also act differently. And by acting differently, we either help certain situations or attract better situation to us, or we can also do the opposite. We can actually make the way we think matters. And we often don't examine the way we think. We just think of our thoughts as if they're true, and we don't really pause and ask ourselves, oh, it's interesting that I'm having this thought. Why am I having it? Is it actually serving me? And if the thought is not serving you, you can just stop thinking it. Don't think the thoughts that are not bringing you close to your goals, or the thoughts that are just making you fail. For example, if you have like an important test that you're going to, the best thing you can actually do to perform the best on the test would probably be to be relaxed, concentrated, and ready to put forth all your knowledge that you have accumulated. And feeling stressed or fearful would not help that situation. It will not help the way you would perform the test. So just thinking that you've got this and going with that attitude would actually help the actual performance on the test. So the thoughts can change our reality. And I'm hoping that I'm making this point clear, because it's not that it's something not tangible. It's actually very tangible, because it all starts in our minds with the thought impulses, and those thoughts create a certain biochemical state in our bodies. So we feel differently based on the thoughts. If you enter the room and you're feeling confident because you said to yourself, I'm prepared for this test, I'm ready to tackle it, I can do this, I'm so excited, I cannot wait to share my knowledge, and then you feel this emotion in your body. Whereas if you enter and you feel so fearful because like, oh my God, I have not studied so much, maybe I'll forget stuff. And then you enter in this stressed response, and in that stressed body, you're way more likely to actually forget things, to actually not perform your best. And that would determine your reality. But it all started with a thought. And also something very interesting that I remember I was reading in one of my studies when they mentioned that, you know how stereotypically women perform worse at math tests, And then if women before the test were reminded, they would ask, oh, which gender are you? And they would say women. They would actually perform worse on the test. Whereas, for example, if the same people were asked which ethnic group you refer to, and they would say Asian, they would actually perform better on the test, because Asians are also known to be typically quite good at hard sciences and at math. So the way they thought about themselves before they went into the test to do the test determined how they performed, regardless of the fact that it was the same person who had the same knowledge. It was just based on their thoughts. Their thoughts either brought them up and helped them perform at their best, helped them bring their best self to the table, or they could also bring them down. So I think the point that I'm trying to make is our thoughts actually do determine our reality, and it is very important to become more mindful and more aware of our thoughts, because we don't want to have negative thoughts that are bringing us down, just creeping in somewhere that we are not even aware of. So some mindfulness practices that are very important, and actually I've done a meditation this morning for this particular reason, because I thought I used to do a lot of meditation and then I paused, and I didn't really know why I paused, because I always feel so much more at peace and I feel calm energy whenever I do continuous meditations, daily meditation practices. So today I did the meditation, and it was not a guided meditation, it was the one where I was just closed my eyes, sat down in a comfortable position, closed my eyes and took a few deep breaths, and I tried to imagine some positive future scenarios that I want to actually happen in my life. And it was so interesting, because whenever I would try to visualize it and to have that path very clear, I would see all of these negative scenarios popping in my mind, all those thoughts that were so subconscious that I was not even aware existed in my mind, about all the things that could go wrong, all the worst case scenarios just popping in my mind and trying to hijack my beautiful scenario that I was trying to play. And then it takes a bit of effort, and then you can get that picture clearer and clearer and with less and less disruptions. But I'm aware that it will take me a few weeks of practice and doing it daily till the point that I can get this clear picture and feel as if I am in that moment when I'm imagining it, without having those subconscious negative thoughts popping up and ruining my scenario. But the reason why I mention it is that it's great to even realize that we have all of these negative thoughts that are just floating in our minds, affecting our behaviors without us even realizing it, and then our behaviors change the reality that we are living. So I am just shocked by the power of our thoughts, and I hope you're shocked too, because it is shocking information. And I hope that encourages you or gives you the push that you need to actually revisit your thoughts and become more mindful of them, and to maybe try meditation just to see what happens. I know there are lots of meditations that are available on YouTube. You can just try even Joe Dispenza's meditation yourself and see if it works. They're all for free. Just try it, just see if it works, just see if it starts improving in your life, and give it some time, because it will not work in one day that you try it for 10 minutes and then you feel like your life should be changed forever. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for being part of LifewithLiza community. I am so happy to see you here. If you enjoyed this episode and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video. It will mean so much to me. Leave a comment if you will start changing your thoughts and becoming more mindful of them. And I see you in the next video.